Let's talk about the difference between production and amateur AI apps. But before we do that, you might have noticed we're starting to be over the honeymoon phase with AI. Agents were the buzzword a few months ago. We were promised that soon enough we wouldn't have to hire any employees. All software engineers were going to be replaced. Everything will be autonomous. Now, what's the reality? Well, the reality is that most of these projects are actually quite underwhelming. I've seen studies that say that 40 to 60%, some high number, percentage of projects using AI engines are going to be canceled in the next couple of years. And that's also my experience in reality. And it's yours as well. If you think about any popular apps, anything that had big, bold claims is not really being used. Yes, GPT agent was a big deal and Manus was talked about. Then what was the other one? Devin, the junior software engineer. All of those were massive disasters. And honestly, the reason I think all of this is being so disappointing is not really that the technology is bad. In fact, I think it's quite good. The problem is that they set the expectations way higher than they should have. And so what I want to do in this video is share with you the two ideas or two principles that we stick to when building AI-based applications. And for context, if you don't know me, my name is Guillermo, and I'm the co-founder and CTO of a tech studio called Seven Sigma, where we've been building software and AI products for clients for almost 5 years at this point. And so the first idea, or the first principle, is that most AI systems don't really use that much AI. Yes, they're marketed with AI because it helps attract customers and it helps ride the wave of AI. But in reality, they're mostly deterministic systems built with traditional software. Think about flowcharts, decision trees, etc. And the reason for this is that AI is very, very difficult to control. And that's why you don't see it in reality. And so we want to stick to something we can control as much as possible to make it repeatable, and then use AI for the very few things that we can't really code programmatically. So let me give you an example. Let's say let's call it an accounting agent that's going to do accounting, right? So accounting has a lot of formulas that can be coded in traditional software. All the math can be coded, all the rules can be coded. What's the only thing that can't be coded? That's the human interaction and the, conversational aspect of it. But when you speak with a user, let's say you are that accounting agent and say, hey, what do you want to do? And the user says, I want to do my taxes for last year. Cool. That's information that now can be put into a very specific process, and some deterministic software is going to say, cool, for that, I need to know your income, your expenses, etc., etc. And then that gets passed on to the agent chats with the user, we get the information, and then that's going to be fed back into some sort of math formula that's going to do the accountant, right? So hopefully you see that we're not having a gigantic prompt that has all the accounting rules and everything that it needs to follow. If we did that, we'll have the false sense of confidence that, oh, this almost works, but that almost part is going to be problematic, which is why you don't see it in reality, right? And so we're just using the agent to chat with the user, feed the information into a deterministic system that we can use. And I foresee that this is going to be the biggest type of software that we're going to be seeing in the next few, probably years, honestly, built with AI. And we're going to start seeing less and less things advertised with quote unquote AI, and just having this natural language interface to what would otherwise be traditional deterministic software. So that's the first thing. Now, the second idea is that, the second thing is that all the products that feel quote unquote magical, that they're fully built with AI, they're almost always built in the form of a chatbot. And this is not a coincidence. Think about ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, or even more specialized tools like, say, Cursor or Replit and any of these software building AI platforms. The reason they're built in the form of a chatbot is that chatbot is a form of what's called human in the loop system, meaning AI can produce results, but you always have a human checking the results of these AI agents. And the reason this is very important is that a big part of what makes AI agents difficult to work with or difficult to put in production is that while they work about 80% of the time, there are a significant amount of times where they make terrible mistakes, which means they can't be fully trusted. And you always need a human to review that. So they might increase the human's productivity, but you always need that check. And so pay attention, like anything that's fully AI nowadays is not running on autopilot. We don't really have companies running only by AI. We don't have, God forbid, nuclear reactors being run only by AI. We only have things that we can still put a very competent person on to check the results. And that's why AI is not replacing software engineers anytime soon, or lawyers, or accountants, or anything else. It can't really be trusted. So you always need the person that knows what they're doing, and now they can move a lot faster. That's why the idea of AI can replace junior people, because in the real world, junior people, junior talent, always needs to be supervised by senior talent. So those are the two key ideas. So every time you're building something with AI, always reflect back on these two things and see or understand where you're falling into. If you're trying to step away from that, you're falling into what I would call like treating AI as magic, and you're trying to do more than you really can with it, and that's going to get you into trouble.